started. We were not able to hook up on the website for the county, but we will be on YouTube. And I really wanted everyone to have every vehicle we could to see, especially our Black History celebration. Are you guys good with that? You're okay with that? Okay. You want to pull your mic down? Or your mic? Your mic. No. Okay, we start every meeting. This is our legislative meeting of February the 5th, 2026. And we start all our meetings out with silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could take a moment for silent prayer. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could please introduce ourselves.
Christy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Hamilton County Commission Vice President Alicia Reese.
I'm Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Ann Schooley, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, President of the Board. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous session.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes,
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
thank you so much. Well, we have some proclamations to do today, some presentations, and we're really excited about this. I would like to just say a few words as president, but we need to celebrate Black history every month, every day, along with other cultures, but it's been designated. February is Black History Month, the shortest month there is, but we're gonna make it the best that it can be. The black, red, and green, a lot of you know, and some of you don't. The black is supposed to represent the soil and the people of Africa, and the red is the blood that has been shed, continues to be shed all over the world. And the green, of course, is prosperity and growth. So we acknowledge that and respect that. In January of 2019, my first day in the seat, I found out that the county was not celebrating Black History Month, and I don't know why I couldn't believe it. So immediately the next month in February, I started the tradition of Black History Month, and it's gone on since then. And my colleagues have also worked with me, and I've worked with them to acknowledge other cultures and traditions. So we're acknowledging everyone who is different, special, important. And so you'll see as the year goes on that we're acknowledging a lot of different groups. And I thought about it on the way here because as I went through the traffic light, I thought about the inventor of the traffic light. I thought about coming up in this elevator was a black man also. And I thought about the filaments in the light bulbs way before Edison. So it makes you think about it. I'll talk more about it probably at the end of the month, but I'll just move forward with our proclamations. We have lots of visitors. I wish we could have this all the time, but I'm glad to see everyone here. And so I have chosen Dr. Monica J. Posey, if she could come forward to the podium. Welcome. You can come right here to the podium. And so what I will do is, go right behind there because you're going to be speaking in a minute. And so I will read the proclamation, and then my colleagues will have something to say, and you certainly can have something to say at that time. So Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners, Black History Month, a proclamation honors Dr. Monica Posey. Whereas Dr. Monica J. Posey serves as president of the Cincinnati State Technical and Community College and has devoted more than 3 decades of distinguished service to the institution, having been her career at Cincinnati State since 1992. And whereas throughout her tenure, Dr. Posey has served in numerous leadership roles, including Assistant Dean, Director of Institutional Research and Planning, Academic Vice President, Provost, and President, demonstrating visionary leadership and a steadfast commitment to student success and institutional excellence. And whereas prior to her service at Cincinnati State, Dr. Posey contributed her talents and expertise at the University of Cincinnati as Assistant Director of Career Development and in the private sector with AT&T Company in Cincinnati and New Jersey, reflecting a broad and impactful professional career. And whereas Dr. Posey is an accomplished scholar, holding a Bachelor of Science degree from Cornell University, a Master of Business Administration from the Wharton Business School of the University of Pennsylvania, and a Doctorate of Education degree in Educational Foundations from the University of Cincinnati, with additional, with additional doctoral coursework completed in quantitative analysis, as well as executive education at Harvard University Institute for Educational Management. And whereas her professional service extends beyond higher education leadership, through her involvement on the boards of the Greater Cincinnati STEM Collaborative and Minorities in Mathematics, Science, and Engineering, and as a graduate of Leadership Cincinnati class of 2010. And whereas Dr. Posey's exemplary leadership has been recognized through numerous awards and honors, including the Martin Luther King Jr. Convene for the Dream Award, the Leading Women of Cincinnati Award, the YWCA of Greater Cincinnati Career Women of Achievement Award, and the University of Cincinnati College of Education, Criminal Justice, and Human Services Distinguished Alumni Award. And whereas, in addition to her professional achievements, Dr. Posey is deeply committed to her faith and service and community engagement, serving as Ohio Conference Christian Education Director of the AME Zion Church, volunteering as a mathematics tutor and exemplifying discipline and personal excellence at, I didn't know this part, as a third-degree black belt in Tang Soo Do Karate. And whereas Dr. Posey and husband, Reverend Dr. Michael J. Posey's community work encompasses tutoring, mentoring, and endowed scholarships at Cincinnati State and Mount St. Joseph University. They have one daughter, Marshall, and 3 grandchildren. Now, therefore be it proclaimed by the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners that we hereby recognize and honor Dr. Monica J. Posey during Black History Month for her outstanding leadership, lifelong dedication to education, and profound impact on students, institutions, and the greater Cincinnati community. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim Monday, February 9th, 2026, as Dr. Monica J. Posey Day in all of Hamilton County.
Thank you.
Okay, I will open it up to my colleagues, and then you certainly can have something to say. Vice President Reese.
Talk about overqualified. Let me just say, Dr. Posey, in your profession, you have been so professional. You've taken Cincinnati State to the next level. You've gotten folks prepared to go right into the workforce. You're able to take Cincinnati State and make sure that what the needs of the job market was, and you were able to get people prepared. You came and stepped up when COVID came and we needed more nurses, and you put together a nursing program. We were able to get people, we were able to help fund it, but you were able to get the people through the pipeline and get them ready to go. I'm just amazed in what you've been able to do. I was honored to be one of the graduation speakers there and seeing all of the graduates and the great work you do. That's professional. Now, in the community, you have just been remarkable. You and your husband, Pastor Posey, is here with you today, and you're a woman of faith. You've helped in the community. You've done a lot helping people in your community through your church efforts. And I didn't know about and the other thing you got to say, you don't need security. Don't mess with her. That's the wrong one to walk up on. But no, thank you so much. And I just want to thank President Dumas for bringing you forward to honor you today and give you your flowers. She didn't say one thing on the proclamation that I wanted to say, be it proclaimed that you are not allowed to retire. All these people, we need some new laws. Good people are not allowed to retire. We need them. But just wish you well in your retirement. And you've done so much and helped so many young people. Your legacy will continue to live on. Congratulations.
Thank you. Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yeah, thank you. I too want to congratulate you on your retirement. You have been a fantastic leader in this community. Cincinnati State is such an important institution to Hamilton County and to the city of Cincinnati because of the connectedness between individuals, no matter what age, getting educated and then moving them right into the workforce so that they are getting jobs right outside the institution. But your leadership has really ramped that up. And you have been a fantastic partner to this commission. I remember two instances. One was when we heard that welding was something that we needed in this community, and Cincinnati State stepped right up, put a facility in place, had us all come through and take a tour so we understood what that connection looked like. And so it was just an immediate response to a need in this community. And I was so grateful for that leadership. And then COVID was the second one where we knew we had a dearth of nurses. People were leaving the profession. And Cincinnati State stood up and said, we will train people to become nurses in this community, young people that want to go into the profession, and we will do it quickly with the support of the commission and make sure that that need is met. So that doesn't happen everywhere, and I believe that your leadership was really the catalyst for all of what's happened at Cincinnati State. I know you've got members of your team here with you as well, because you've always been such a team person, a team player, but we have appreciated the partnership here in Hamilton County. You have just been a tremendous asset, and again, congratulations. We're sorry that you're leaving, but I know it's well-deserved. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome to say a few words.
Just so thankful to Hamilton County and also all the commissioners. You've been on campus. You supported us all the way. And we're so pleased. I'll continue to work with the college even though I retire. We learned two things this year. One is that of all the 22 community colleges in Ohio, Cincinnati State was #1 in graduate earnings. That's great. We also learned this year that our economic impact annually on the greater Cincinnati community is now $1.3 billion. So we're pleased at the work of Cincinnati State. Thank you. I have my husband to stand. Back over here. And we'll continue our community work. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to present the proclamation to you, and depending on how many people you have with you, we'll either sit here and do it or we'll go down here. Okay. We'll come to you, yeah.
Wonderful. Right here. And next.
Okay, we're going to go to our next recipient, Vice President Reese.
Thank you. My first honoree is the First Ladies of Health, and they'll come forward. Got a couple of them here. All right. Whereas 2026 is the 100th anniversary of celebrating Black History Month. And Black History Month provides an opportunity to honor the legacy, leadership, and resilience of African American individuals and organizations whose work has strengthened families, communities, and institutions across generations. Whereas health equity has been long a critical issue impacting Black communities with disparities in access, education, and outcomes requiring culturally responsive leadership, trusted voices, and community-driven solutions. Whereas the First Ladies of Health Project is a volunteer-led initiative that leverages the leadership, influence, and trusted presence of First Ladies, pastor wives, and church representatives to educate and connect parishioners and community members with vital health resources. And whereas guided by its vision of an empowered community making informed choices about health and its mission to educate and connect communities to take charge of their well-being, First Ladies of Health has become a powerful force for health awareness and action. Whereas the First Ladies for Health Project is uniquely distinguished by its Family Health Day, held simultaneously across multiple churches and community locations, demonstrating unity, collaboration, and collective impact in addressing health disparities. And whereas through education, outreach, and advocacy, First Ladies for Health works to reduce health disparities, advance health equity, and improve overall health outcomes for underserved populations, continuing a proud tradition of faith-based leadership within Black history. Whereas the leadership of Marcia Boyd and Regina Lynch serving as co-chairs reflects a deep commitment to service, collaboration, and community empowerment, ensuring that faith and health work hand in hand to uplift families and neighborhoods throughout Hamilton County. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of the citizens of Hamilton County, Ohio, the Board of County Commissioners does hereby recognize and commend the First Ladies for Health for their outstanding contributions to community health, faith-based leadership, and ongoing pursuit of health equity. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim Sunday, February 8th, 2026, as First Ladies for Health Day in all of Hamilton County. Commission President, can I add, I want to add that this is, I think, very unique to Hamilton County, and these are different denominations, and the preachers do a great job preaching on Sunday mornings and Sunday schools, but when the First Ladies put their foot down, everybody gets going, and I saw these First Ladies have their husbands checking their blood pressure and everything and telling them what they need to do. So I just want to thank you all. They do breast cancer exams. They do dental exams. I've seen them help with the COVID and flu shots. I saw one husband, a pastor, I'm not going to say his name. He didn't want to go, and I saw the First Lady, you going to get over here and get that shot. And then he went on over there and rolled up his sleeve. So it's so important, the work that the First Ladies are doing for health, and I'm just so honored to have them as one of our honorees today.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Your work precedes itself. I've heard a lot about you guys, and what you do is so important in the time that society doesn't think that faith is important. And I know how important it is. You know how important it is. I know how important first ladies are to our churches. So continue to do all the great things that you do, and gather each other and for strength, because it's time for you guys to be supported more. I know it's not an easy job. I'm not a first lady, but I know it's not an easy job. But young people and society looks at you as an example. So thank you so much for coming.
And just briefly, this organization is a testament to how important the faith community is in Hamilton County, and your commitment to reaching out to the congregation and making sure that they are aware of not only health risks in the community, but also resources that are available in the community. I mean, I know that's what you are doing, and trying to make sure that folks that belong to your congregations are as healthy as they can be. And it takes the ladies to get it done. And so here you are. So it is a real pleasure to honor you today.
Thank you. As they come up, I know this is just a very small group of, a lot of them couldn't all be here today, but will you introduce yourselves, as you give your statement, introduce yourselves and what church you are affiliated with?
Yes. Well, I'm Patricia Atkins, and I am the ambassador for Golden Leaf Baptist Church. I'm not the first lady, but I am the ambassador for the program.
Awesome.
I'm Louise Mapp, and I'm an ambassador of Corinthian Baptist Church.
I'm First Lady Cherie Tate, New Beginnings Church of the Living God in Avondale. Hi, I'm First Lady Erica Garrett, New Life Missionary Baptist Church.
Would you all, anyone want to say something?
Well, we first would like to thank Vice President Reese for even acknowledging us and recognizing us on this day. We had no idea it was going to be this involved, so forgive me as I try to catch my breath. Also, we'd like to thank the rest of the commissioners for honoring us and recognizing the work that we've done over the past few years. The First Ladies for Health's goal was to educate and connect the community with available resources so that they can make informed decisions and take charge of their health. It started with just wanting to provide flu shots to the neighborhood. And from that, it grew into something that we had no idea was going to take on this type of magnitude. And so we do other health issues, such as Commissioner Reese stated, campaign to know your numbers, blood pressures, blood sugars, cancer screenings, COVID vaccinations, maternal and child health education, mental health education has now been included, and much, much more. What is unique about the project is that the families are invited to come to multiple locations on the same Sunday in October. The second Sunday in October, we provide this throughout the community so that wherever you are, you can get that type of information. And it, like I said, it's grown to such an enormous amount. It started with 17 churches, and now we're up to over 30 churches that are participating. The former First Ladies, which Dina Cranley and Barbara Lynch from New Jerusalem Baptist Church, started this program in 2015. And we've gone on and on and on since then. Today, we have over 30 participating churches, like I said, and we've included upcoming events other than just the annual day. In May, we sponsor a mental health symposium for adults and teens to know, and it's now in its fourth year. And in July, we partner with the People Working Collaboratively to sponsor the Senior Healthy Living Lunch and Learn that provides information and home safety tips for our senior citizens. Our current chairs, as Commissioner Reese mentioned, is Marcia Boyd, the First Lady from First New Shiloh Baptist Church, and Regina Lynch, the First Lady from New Prospect Baptist Church. But some of our collaborators and our sponsors we want to recognize, and that is the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, Kroger, Mercy Health, Tri-Health, Interact for Health, Humana, and Cincinnati State Community College also helped out. In fact, the last couple of years, they provided the data that we needed because we weren't able to collect data. So they sent students and they sent people from Cincinnati State to do our data research for us. So we're very appreciative of that. And again, thank you so much. We didn't know we would get this type of recognition. We appreciate it. We thank you for it because we worked hard over the past few years to get that information out to the community. And we certainly think that, the more people that know about it, the more you know, the better you get.
Yes.
So thank you.
Okay, we're going to come down there too.
Come down.
Okay.
offside just because of the coach. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Dreehouse.
Thank you. I have two honorees today, and they're both connected to the Hamilton County Addiction Response Coalition. This group has been in existence since 2015. We're doing collective work. It's prevention, treatment, law enforcement, public health, hospitals, the faith community, the business community, all in trying to make sure that we're trying to save lives and get people into long-term treatment in this community. And so the two individuals that we're honoring today have been a critical part of that work. The beauty of the work is the collective, much like the First Ladies of Health. The collective is the power in what we're doing. And overdose deaths in this community have declined dramatically. And I've got the numbers since the peak in 2017. We are 52% lower than that peak. And then just last year, we had a 31% decline in overdose deaths in Hamilton County. Now, we're still losing people in the community, but these kinds of declines are a product of the work of the coalition, the community coming together and reducing stigma in this community related to addiction. And so I feel very strongly that we need to recognize people that are kind of behind the scenes a little bit, but doing the work every day and making a difference in the community. So Carstel Winston is my first. Please come forward, Carstel. So I have a proclamation in recognition of District Chief Carstel Winston. Whereas during the month of February, Hamilton County recognizes the contributions of African American citizens to the culture, well-being, economy, and vibrancy of our community. And whereas District Chief Carstel Winston has served in the Cincinnati Fire Department for 31 years, beginning his career in February 1995, and has held the rank of District Chief since October 2015, providing long-standing leadership in emergency medical services and public safety. And whereas District Chief Winston has played a key leadership role in Hamilton County's response to the opioid epidemic, contributing operational expertise and frontline perspective to countywide strategies focused on harm reduction, treatment, access, and recovery. And whereas as an active member of HCARC, District Chief Winston has supported cross-agency collaboration among fire, EMS, public health, law enforcement, treatment providers, and community partners. And whereas District Chief Winston has been instrumental in supporting innovative EMS-based approaches that bridge the gap between overdose reversal and treatment engagement, improving continuity of care and reducing barriers to services. Whereas his efforts as District Chief have emphasized public health-centered solutions, recognizing substance use disorder as a medical condition and promoting compassionate, evidence-based responses. And whereas beyond his professional service, District Chief Winston is a husband and father of 2 daughters, and he has a deep personal commitment to his faith, his family, and the well-being of Hamilton County families. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby recognize the invaluable contributions of District Chief Carstel Winston to the community and does hereby proclaim February 13th, 2026 as Carstel Winston Day in all of Hamilton County. And can I just say that Carstel, there are some members of the coalition that are a little more forward-facing, but Carstel was the key to connecting this coalition to the data we needed to go to the doorsteps of those who had overdosed in our community to try to get them into recovery and save their lives. And so, Carstel, it was invaluable, the connection you made. And so we are a grateful community for the work that you've done on HCARC.
Thank you. Welcome. Chief Winston, I can't imagine what you have seen in 31 years. I really don't want to imagine. But I want to thank you for all the lives that you've touched in those 31 years. So thank you. Well deserved. Thank you very much.
Chief, I join with everybody saying thank you for all the work that you've done. But what I want to point out more than anything, the legacy that you continue. There was a time when Black people could not be police officers, and you are carrying the legacy of those who broke that barrier to allow someone like yourself, qualified and ready to serve on the front lines. And I want to appreciate the numbers that were read by Commissioner Driehaus in terms of the change of mindset. And you were able to change that mindset and save lives in a different way. And so I just want to commend you for being able to, police in the times that we have now and helping with getting people who are addicted to the opioids, helping them out, and saving those lives. So congratulations, and certainly happy Commissioner Driehaus has brought you forward.
Would you like to say a few words?
Well, just briefly, I'd like to thank the county commissioners, including Commissioner Driehaus. It has been a long time, and just and I'll call it a battle when it comes to the opioid addiction. And once we started giving information back and forth, it was a time when we would not transport somebody to the hospital, and that was it. But now we either send them to direct treatment, or we share information with the heroin task force so they can follow up with that treatment. Or we've also done a lot of education right now. We're doing it with harm reduction for our own members, and we have over 850 members. So we're trying to get them the education that they need to be more compassionate in the field. So I just appreciate you really thanking the fire department for what they do. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Very good. We're going to come down with you.
Yep.
Okay. We have 3 more honorees, and I have one that I'd like to get started on. Mr. Johnson, where are you? Are you hiding? There he is. Please come to the podium. And whereas the Black History Month is observed annually to recognize, honor, and celebrate the profound history, culture, and achievements, this month we're celebrating Mr. Gregory Johnson. Whereas the observance provides an opportunity to uplift individuals whose lives and leadership embody the principles of equity, opportunity, resilience, and service, and whose work continues to advance justice and community empowerment. Whereas Gregory D. Johnson, MS, PHM, EDEP, I know that stands for something you work very hard for. He serves as as the Chief Executive Officer of the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority, bringing nearly 3 decades of strategic leadership and dedicated public service to the field of public housing. Well, it's needed so bad. That's not in here, but it's just such an integral part of where we are today. People need a place to stay. Whatever we can do to make it that way, that's what you've been trying to do. Okay. Whereas for Mr. Johnson, public housing is more than a profession. It is a lifelong mission rooted in personal experience and a deep commitment to creating access to opportunity, stability, and success for families throughout Hamilton County. And whereas Mr. Johnson is driven by a vision to expand quality, affordable housing, foster entrepreneurial opportunities, and develop innovative housing solutions that strengthen families, promote economic inclusion, and build sustainable communities. And whereas a nationally respected industry expert, Mr. Johnson has testified before the United States House Government Reform Subcommittee and regularly presents at national conferences. And whereas Mr. Johnson's distinguished academic and professional preparation includes a Bachelor of Arts degree from Tiffin University, a master's degree from Quinnipiac University, executive leadership training at Harvard Kennedy School, leadership and organizational change studies at the Wharton School, and other certifications and trainings too numerous to list. Whereas his service and leadership has been recognized by NAHRO and multiple chambers of commerce, recognized and testified in the U.S. House of Representatives to the Housing Reform Subcommittee, letter of commendation from the state of Ohio for Gregory Johnson for receiving the Talbot House's Agnes Seasongood Award. Talbot House's Agnes Season Award was presented to Gregory Johnson, state of Ohio, state recognition for receiving the Talbot House's Agnes Seasongood Award. Did you get it 3 times? Who's who? He was given who's who among students in American universities, and outstanding merit at Tiffin University. And whereas through his leadership, vision, and unwavering commitment to service, Gregory D. Johnson exemplifies the enduring legacy of African American excellence, leadership, and impact celebrated during Black History Month. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners does hereby recognize and honor Gregory D. Johnson during Black History Month for his outstanding leadership, visionary service, and transformative contributions in housing, community development, and economic inclusion throughout Hamilton County. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim Friday, February the 6th, as Gregory D. Johnson Day in all of Hamilton County. Okay, I will open it up to Vice President Reese, just to say a couple words that your impact, as we know, has been phenomenal, and you continue to have a really creative way of thinking about things, innovative way that will help people as we move forward. So, Vice President Reese.
I was looking at the face of Mr. Johnson when you were reading all that, because he likes to stay behind the scenes. And I'm glad that you're shining a light on his credentials and accomplishments. I know you just like to just do the work, but I think it's important to shine a light on the work that you have done and where you came from. And you just didn't go to sleep and wake up like this. You did a lot of work leading up to this. And I just want to say congratulations and thank President Dumas for selecting you and having you here today for a chance for us to honor you because you always are honoring other people. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Greenhouse.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be honoring you here today. You know, CMHA has been around for a long time, and the organization has changed over that time. But under your leadership, the work has changed, the look has changed, the forward-facingness of the organization has changed in order to better serve this community all over the city of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. You have done a lot to elevate what happens at CMHA and respond to the needs of the people in this community. It is such an important aspect to what we do and how we provide housing to people in this community, and I can think of no better person to be at the lead than yourself. So a pleasure to honor you today.
I'd like to say a few words.
Well, I had a whole speech lined up, but I'm not going to read it because I don't think I'll get through it. As Commissioner Reese said, I like to stay in the shadows and not be out front and just do the work, but I want to say thank you so much. I've been in this community for about 14 years, and I've worked really hard to help people that I've never met. And that's one of the things that my mother continues to ask me every day that I talk to her is, who did you help that you didn't know? And so that's what keeps me driving to continue to move this thing forward. So thank you so much, and I'm very humbled to receive this honor.
Great. Do you have some people with you?
No, it's just,
Oh,
it's
okay.
just.
I thought they're all here for you. So we're coming down, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. I see Judge Mallory's in the room to make sure everything goes right and everything. So, okay. We're going to move on to our next recipient.
Thank you. Before we go to the next recipient, I want to make sure, I know that Commissioner Driehaus was talking about the Addiction Coalition, and it has police and fire and so many other people. And I did highlight that there was a time when African Americans could not be police officers, and I didn't want people to mistaken District Chief Winston. He's with the fire department, and Chief Wright would be upset with me if I did not highlight that in the fire department, Chief Wright was first Black in the fire department. They also had those issues. So I want to make sure he's with the fire department and he's carrying on that legacy. And the fire department also keeps people safe. So I just wanted to make sure that that was understood because it had been a challenge, and we've come a long way from those days in both those departments. And I know they have, what do they do? They have a battle between the police and fire. So I had to make sure the fire department is properly, and Anson is from the fire department, so I want to make sure we properly give the acknowledgement. My next honoree, if Ms. Michelle Roseman would come forward. It's the late Betty Daniels Roseman. I'm highlighting again, 2026 marks the 100th anniversary of Black History Month, providing a historic opportunity to honor African-American trailblazers whose courage, leadership, and sacrifice strengthen families, communities, and the conscience of our nation. Whereas Betty Daniels Roseman was born May 14th, 1939, in Magnolia, Mississippi, and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. She lived a life defined by faith, bravery, and purpose, courageously answering the call to justice during the civil rights movement. Whereas, as one of the first Black students to attend Louisiana State University in New Orleans, Betty broke racial barriers in the segregated South before leaving her studies to join the Congress of Racial Equality, known as CORE, under Dr. James Farmer, becoming a freedom rider who faced violence, arrest, and life-threatening danger to enforce desegregation laws across the Deep South. Whereas after nearly losing her life during a freedom ride in Mississippi and being arrested during a sit-in in Virginia, Miss Betty continued her lifelong commitment to justice, later making her home right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, where she devoted decades of service to St. Vincent de Paul and community advocacy. Whereas her national impact and legacy were recognized through appearances on The Oprah Winfrey Show, honors from the National Women's Law Center, a meeting with President Barack Obama, her induction into the Ohio Civil Rights Hall of Fame, while her gifts as a poet and speaker allowed her to faithfully share the story of the movement with generations to come. Now, whereas on Sunday, January 18th, 2026, Miss Betty Daniels Roseman entered eternal rest, leaving behind a legacy of courage, humility, faith, and service that continues to inspire all who seek justice and righteousness. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of the citizens of Hamilton County, Ohio, the Board of County Commissioners does hereby honor and commend the late Betty Daniels Roseman for her fearless leadership, enduring faith, and lifelong dedication to civil rights and human dignity. And be it further proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio does hereby proclaim Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, as Betty Daniels Roseman Day in all of Hamilton County. I just want to add that I got a chance to sit down with Ms. Roseman, and I'm the type of person, when I sit down, I got 1,000 questions. I know she said, here she come again. But she loved telling me, I said, how did you do it? Because it's good to read it in the books, but to hear the real stories and to have someone who's had that type of magnitude. And I also just learned more just now doing the research. I didn't know about the LSU connection. My nephew is at LSU playing basketball, Jalen Reese. But the reason he can go to LSU is because of Betty Roseman. And I'm going to send him, he's getting ready to play. I'm going to say, listen, this is why you got a chance to have a scholarship. And so having someone like her that just walked among us and coming from the Deep South, and there were dangers there. And I'm just saying we can learn so much from her and what we're going through even now. Young people want to get involved. You can get involved, but you got to do it the right way. They were trained, developed, fearless, and she represents what it's all about. It wasn't about just her getting in college. It wasn't about just her getting something. Her thing was, I'm going to make it better for the next generations. And I'm sitting here today, all of us really, because of her. Without her, we couldn't run for office. We couldn't be on the ballot. We couldn't vote. This legacy, it just gives me chills because I got a chance to hug her and touch her and hear from her. But her legacy will never die because all of us sitting even in this building, diverse people, we can walk in a building like this, is because of her. So I'm just honored. I wish she could have made it because that's when I was waiting on having her in here, and then we'd have 15 more questions for her. But she has gotten the ultimate prize. She's gone on. She's sitting on the throne looking down, and I hope she puts a good word in for us.
Great. Yes. Thank you. And my understanding, you were going to recognize her before, and so you're doing it now. So that is just awesome. What a legacy to hear that. So Miss Roseman continues to get her flowers, and that's great. And I don't believe I've met her. I've met some of the street riders, but not her. So you're blessed to have had her, and I know you'll continue her legacy. So thank you, all of you.
Yeah, what an honor to have you in front of us today and to hear the history about Betty Rosemond. Thank you, Commissioner Reese, for bringing this forward. We are all standing on the shoulders of her and the freedom riders like her that showed the bravery and courage at a time when it wasn't easy to do that. And it's a reminder that we are still living in difficult times. We have been living in difficult times. And so we all can learn from that legacy. It's not only the courage, it's the way in which people conducted themselves at those times that they needed to be respected and honored for the work that they were doing. And so we can learn from that. So it is really a privilege to be here with all of you. I am sorry for your loss, but it is a delight to honor Betty here today. So thank you so much for being here.
And her grandson is here. I'm sure he'll say so, but he is a national artist, and he's done the stuff at the Playhouse and the park and those kind of things. So I'm sure he will continue her legacy through the arts as well. So.
On behalf of Betty Daniels Rosemond's entire family, we thank Hamilton County. We thank all of you for your kind words and for your generosity. You guys have gone out of your way to honor her, not just today, but all the time throughout her life. When she started to be honored later in her life, you all were there. So we as her family appreciate that, and we thank you. Two things that I think she would want me to say. My grandmother, to everyone else, is an icon and is a legend in civil rights. She's both of those things, but she was an amazing person, and she was a kind person and an amazing grandmother, and it costs nothing to be kind. She was a kind person above all else, accolades or not. She was a nice person, and she treated everybody with respect. And that's a lesson that we all can learn. And also the second thing she would want me to say is know our history. It is so important now more than ever that we know our history, because these aren't the first difficult times that America or human beings have lived through. So if we know our history, it gives us hope, and it gives us a compass and a map to know what to do now when we need to know what to do now, not later, now. Thank you.
Is it right if I get your pen? Thank you.
Okay, we have one, another honoree, our last one.
Yes, we are going to recognize Trina Jackson. Please come forward, Trina. We are all standing on the shoulders. Right? We all need to take a deep breath, right? We're all standing on the shoulders here. You are the perfect person to be honoring here in the context of what we just heard. So many of us know Trina because she is the director of our Department of Reentry here in Hamilton County. The important work that you are doing to make sure that individuals that interact with our justice system have the supports they need when they go back out into the community, because they're going back out into the community and they need the support to succeed. And so the work you've done has been remarkable. That's part of why we're honoring you here today. But the other piece is the HCARC piece, where you have brought that knowledge base and that experience to the Hamilton County Addiction Response Coalition, because so often there's an intersection between addiction and people being incarcerated. And so you have brought a wealth of knowledge into that room to connect dots for us to make sure that what we are doing is strategic, well-intentioned, and hitting the mark with the folks that you interact with. So really, really glad to honor you today. So whereas during the month of February, Hamilton County recognizes the contributions of African American citizens to the culture, well-being, economy, and vibrancy of our community. And whereas Trina currently serves as the director of the Hamilton County Office of Reentry, a client-centered support organization created to disrupt the cycle of incarceration. And whereas, as director, Trina leads a team of reentry coordinators, some of the team members are here, who passionately assist justice-involved individuals through the process of reentry. And whereas since the inception of the office in 2017, Trina has led the development of the reentry pod in the jail in partnership with the Hamilton County Sheriff, creating and preparing incarcerated women for Sustainable Careers Initiative, spearheaded the One Stop Resource Center, I know that's your pride and joy, and co-established the Welcome Home Reentry Docket in partnership with Judge Wendy Cross. And whereas Trina has additionally facilitated community partnerships with the River City Correctional, Cincinnati State, and Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority to give returning citizens access to gainful employment and housing. And whereas Trina serves as the Hamilton County Addiction Response Coalition and has been an integral member of the Interdiction Pillar, and whereas under Trina's leadership, the Office of Reentry has been awarded national recognition multiple times by the National Association of Counties, most recently receiving the NACO Achievement Award in 2025. And whereas Trina's work in the Office of Reentry and as a member of the Hamilton County Addiction Response Coalition has remarkably increased and impacted public safety, reduced recidivism, and has saved taxpayer dollars. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby recognize the invaluable contributions of Trina Jackson to the community and does hereby proclaim February 12th, 2026 as Trina Jackson Day in all of Hamilton County. Thank you.
Yes.
The work speaks for itself.
Yes.
Thank you. Yep.
Wow, that was a surprise for me. I know I asked my colleagues to hand in their names to my office, but I didn't look at the names. And when you said Trina Jack, what? So it's not work for Trina. It's her passion. It's her life. If I had to have someone to advocate for me, I would choose you. She will fight for you with her last breath. So those that are in the middle of reentry and you're looking for some help, and she doesn't do it alone, I'm not saying that, but the Hamilton County Reentry Department office is phenomenal. And I always say small but mighty. It's only a few of them. But the love that you have for the people you serve is, I can't even express it. So I thank you so much.
I just want to say, I want people to understand how far you bring people out with hope. There are people who go in and do their time. And while some do their time, they say, when I get out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get my life together, I'm gonna reconnect with my children, I'm gonna do it right. But when they get out, they got a brown paper bag for them and say, good luck. And then that's when Trina Jackson and her team comes in, take that brown paper bag and help them overcome so many things: housing, getting a job, starting a business, getting their license reinstated. It's not an easy thing. They hand them a brown paper bag, and then Trina Jackson and her team grabs the brown paper bag and gives them a second chance at life to be a productive citizen. Yes, it helps us, people going back to the community makes it safe. Yes, it helps us reduce tax dollars. But I'm talking about this faith walk that Trina Jackson is doing and her team, taken from the brown paper bag to having people who've changed their lives. And so I want to thank Commissioner Driehaus for bringing her selection as Trina Jackson, Director Trina Jackson. And even when I pull up, I'll see somebody and I'm looking for reentry. I said, now, wait a minute, brother. Trina Jackson don't play now. You're going to have to get yourself together, clean up. And I see what she does. They may not even own a suit. They may not have a resume. They may not know how to do a interview. So please, as we talk about Black History Month, and we here at Hamilton County having the first reentry office in the whole state, I believe, of Ohio, we are the blueprint. But Trina Jackson, when you think of her Black History Month, think of her coming from the brown paper bag to changing people's lives. So thank you for all that you and your office does, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate this. I'm not usually a crier, so here we go. But thank you so much for this recognition. I can't accept it all. You know what I mean? Thank you, Commissioner Driehaus. I have to recognize my husband, who kind of rolls with me everywhere. Whatever role I'm having, he's there too. But I also, there he is right there. I also want to recognize our team, because I could not do this work. This is definitely a vision that we all seem to have, that everybody deserves multiple chances to eliminate or disrupt that whole cycle of going into the system. We don't want to see anybody go into the system. If we could stop it, we will. And so I feel like that's what I've been blessed to do as a career. It's not work, like you said. It's really just what I believe God will have me to do. So thank you again for this. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the support that you have always given the Office of Reentry. Someone from ODRC, Department of Corrections, actually said to me a couple weeks ago that they believe our office is one of the largest offices in, like, a reentry office itself in the country, and that's because of you. And typically, offices aren't connected to government, and that is something unique and something that we should be really proud of in Hamilton County. So thank you.
Thanks, Trina.
Great. We'll come down.
Here you go, right here. Thank you so much.
Take one without director.
Oh, shoot. Keep going. There we go. I got you guys.
was just trying to give you a little fist bump.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All righty, we're going to move on. This was a great morning. I wish we didn't have to move on, but we have more work for the county, so thank you all for coming. Okay. Do we have any public comments online or anything? No? Okay. I think we'll move on to comments and motions. Commissioner Dreehouse.
Thank you, and thank you for organizing this. This is it's inspirational. I think we should stop. I think we're good. We're good for the morning.
Yeah.
It's really been a wonderful celebration. So thank you for your efforts in pulling all that together. Just a few things. Interestingly, I just went to the African American Chamber annual meeting this week. Eric Kearney and his team had a discussion about all the things that they've achieved in the last year. So I was delighted to hear about that and attend their annual meeting. I also went to the bell dedication out in Cheviot. So as we all know, it's American 250. It's our birthday. And so Cheviot is having an event every month this year to celebrate America 250. And so last month they dedicated a bell. This month they dedicated a clock. And I will tell you something, this community turned out, it was freezing. They all stood outside. They had their American 250 sweatshirts or t-shirts on. And then they had a big celebration in the Eagles Lodge afterwards. It is Americana at its best in Cheviot, Ohio. And so Sam Keller, the mayor, was there, and the organizers were there, and the Eagles had a lot to do with helping fund the meal that was afterwards. But it is really something to be out in Cheviot celebrating a historical event like our birthday, knowing that they take such pride in the history of Cheviot. And so I was really glad to be out there with all the residents out there. Also went to the Summer Music Open House. This is something that was organized over in Price Hill by Price Hill Will. And it was a celebration of music, but also the young people getting involved in music through My Cincinnati. So went over there and represented the commission. And then last night went to the State of the Mill Creek address. We have been invested in the bike trail that is running alongside the Mill Creek, and this was an annual report out on the state of the Mill Creek. Water quality is improving. More wildlife is in the area. We've got city and county investments creating economic energy around the Mill Creek, and the communities that will benefit include Millvale and South Fairmount and Lower Price Hill, and all these communities that have not generally seen a lot of investment from the city and the county, and yet here we are poised to make that a really significant area and invest there by way of economic development, but also community partnership. And so I was really, really delighted to join the Mill Creek Alliance in the address, and thanks to Dave Schmidt for all the work he's done. Lastly, I have a new intern in the office. Emma Schwartz is in the back of the room. Emma, we welcome you to the county. You're with us for a few months. Remind me what university? Xavier University. So we welcome you with open arms and look forward to all the work that we will do together in Hamilton County. So thanks for being here. That's all I have.
Where she says she's from, University of Cincinnati, right?
She said Xavier University. We do get UC, but in Miami, our last one was Miami, but now we got
that's
Xavier.
right. Okay.
Yep.
I just have a few things. Let's see, I went on a tour at our central campus, which will be opening very soon. Some of the departments are already moving in, but on February the 11th, we will have a sign reveal and also a ribbon cutting starting around 10:30, and then the ribbon cutting. So that's on Patricia McCullum Way, up where Mercy Health used to be. And so we have about 7 departments that will be moving into there. And as president of the board, I am now the chair of our Emergency Management Agency Executive Committee. So I attended that committee on Monday. And then also as president, the chair of the One Ohio Foundation, which I also attended this week. I talked to Holly earlier, Holly and Anson earlier this week about Carthage Fairgrounds and just taking a look again at Carthage Fairgrounds and what we may want to think about and talk with the Agricultural Society as it relates to the fairgrounds. We'll be talking more about that. That fairgrounds has about 38 acres on it. So I also attended the State Capitol Task Force. It's about 20 business CEOs that sit in there and we review applications as it relates to structural allocation for funding. So we're halfway through. Lots of communities have come forth and we'll be reviewing, I believe on the 26th, the final list that we have. And I just wanted to say on the One Ohio, and you can probably help me with this, Commissioner Driehaus, but grants will be opening up for those who work in the addiction field. I'm not sure of the date, but listen, keep your ear to the ground because we got almost $4 million for allocation for this round. And that will end my report. Vice President Reese.
Thank you very much. Also, as was stated earlier, I also participated in the tour of the new Bond Hill Central campus, and it's coming along really great. So excited about that. And I know folks will be excited about the free parking as well and accessibility. So it's coming along really, really well. A lot of space over there. So looking forward to the ribbon cutting and the opening at the Bond Hill Central campus. Also also attended the emergency management meeting, as was mentioned already earlier, and I also attended the One Ohio Region 2 meeting. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that I brought up at the meeting and want to put on the table is that One Ohio, there's a lot of work, and our team here has been doing a great, Abigail and Megan has done a great deal of work. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of organizing. And at the demand of One Ohio. And my understanding is they're looking at trying to be more of kind of a standalone One Ohio, being a private nonprofit, if you will. And the thing I brought up, Mr. Ludo, is that these folks, we are paying whether it's, space that, we're paying, we've got space, we're putting a lot of money in. And what I don't want is One Ohio come in and say, hey, we're in charge, you got to do these things, and Hamilton County picks up the expense, whether it's office space that's getting ready to happen out at the Bond Hill Central campus, whether it's time committed to this, and then they say, well, now the board doesn't have any authority. And so I think it's important, even when we do grants, there's an administrative fee on the nonprofits. And so therefore we cannot absorb and have them do all this work and nothing, and then they say, well, now they got to report to One Ohio. One Ohio has to come up with some money to help offset. And we can do it like they do other nonprofits. It's a percentage for office space. There's a percentage for pencils and pens. There's a percentage for data and reporting. There's a percentage towards salaries. So I'd like to get a better understanding. I had asked Mr. Ludo, and I want to thank you for getting it to us. I'm going to review it. Our organizational chart that's under the Board of County Commissioners, who they are, how they're paid, and how much they make. Because we also absorb medical and dental, and we absorb retirement benefits and those kind of things. So I just don't want it just started to seem like One Ohio's got a lot of demands, and our team here is doing a lot of work. And then they jump up and say, we're One Ohio and we're in charge. Well, you got to pay to be in charge, not just giving us the grants, us being able to recommend grants, but all the work that Megan and Abigail are doing, countless hours in trying to get all this paperwork ready for One Ohio. So I had that put in the minutes in the meeting yesterday, and I wanted to make sure I want to get a response on the record as how we move forward and what is the investment from One Ohio. So I wanted to put that out there. The other thing wanted to bring up was I did meet, and I think we'll have a presentation on the convention hotel. It's no surprise that I'm disappointed that we don't have we got an 800 room now, we only gonna have 700 rooms, it's gonna cost more. There were two key things that was brought up, and I look forward to hearing more about it. One is with the convention hotel, what I wanna make sure of is that you bring a hotel on board and we're not just shifting rooms. What do I mean by that? For example, we have other hotels, and all those hotels go into the hotel motel tax, and we have the hotel motel tax paying for other debts and waterfall. And so when we come in, all we end up doing, I want to make sure that we're bringing in more people to stay at hotels, not the same amount of people. And they said they're not going to stay at these other hotels downtown or throughout the county. They're now going to stay at the brand new hotel. Well, once it goes to the brand new hotel, those dollars only can be spent toward the debt of that hotel. So it doesn't go into the general pot for hotel motel tax. So what happens then? Now the other things that we have to pay debt on and the waterfall stuff, they say we didn't bring in as much as we thought we were going to bring in. And that's what I have been concerned about. Even with, I was happy to see Reds Fest come back, but Red Fest we already had. I was happy to see the boat show come back, but the boat show we already had with zero extra investment. So I want to make sure that we're not just shifting. If you have a music fest that's booked all the rooms, and now people come from music fest say, well, I want to stay in the new hotel. They go to the new hotel, only those dollars from the tax on the hotel motel tax for the new hotel has to go back to pay only for the new hotel. So that takes money from the general pot and the waterfall. Now they have had some consultants, but we have seen where consultants have missed, they don't always hit the mark. The weatherman doesn't always hit the mark. I didn't hear anything about snow today, and it snowed today. So consultants are just projections. It's not 100%. So I want to make sure, I asked them to put some language in there, one sentence, and maybe the prosecutor's office can look into it, Mr. Ludo, one sentence that says this general pot, right, that we have estimated debt, we've on other things, because even Sharonville's debt is tied up into it, Sharonville Convention Center, and the waterfall that we have agreed to, that we supported, that those have to be taken care of first. Now, if those are taken care of, and if your consultants are right, we have no problem. We would do 100% of the tax going to the new hotel. But if it is 5% less or 10% less, then you would only get 95 or 50 or 80%. And that has to be, because we can't have two things funded with the same money. So I am concerned, because if it's just, we're going to take, rooms out of the downtown Westin, and they say, I'm not staying at the Westin, I'm going to stay at this new Marriott. Well, when it goes to the new Marriott, that money only goes to pay for the new Marriott. The Westin money that we need will be extracted from the general fund that we need to pay off the other debts. So not to get too far in the weeds, but we got to get in the weeds, because this paperwork that they have us sign, I have not seen it yet. They gave me a PowerPoint. I told them I can't check off the box for a PowerPoint. I need to read the fine print. So hopefully we'll have that before the presentation, not the day before, but before the presentation, so that we can read. But one of the things I just caught, and to me it's very simple, just one little line that says, yes, we will give the money from that hotel to pay for that hotel. But if the regular money goes down, we have to deduct to make sure those obligations are met as well. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight. The big thing everyone says, oh, we're not asking for no money. We're not asking for that. I want to stop people who come before us. So we're not asking for, Well, then why are we voting? What you're doing is asking for future revenues. That is like writing a check. That's like writing a check. That's like when they come and you say, I'm gonna buy something. They say, don't put no money down, but I want an automatic withdrawal from your future checks. So you didn't put no check up right now, but you're paying for it with an automatic deduction. So just wanted to, I know hopefully we'll have a chance to get into that, but I just asked for that simple one little sentence. And it seems like it should be doable. And so I just wanted my colleagues to know that, because I know we can't talk to each other. So I wanted to make sure that that was articulated and highlighted. So those are the things that I have. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Dreehouse.
I already went, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah, because she left out. Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Want me to go again?
No.
We don't have time for all that.
Okay, so Jeff Aludo, our administrator.
Thank you, Commissioners. I don't have any comments per se today. We do have several buy leave items, though, on the agenda. Starting with buy leave 1. That's an appointment resolution, Commissioner. I didn't know if you wanted to take that one. I'd be happy to if you, at your deference.
Certainly, I can take it. Buy leave 1 is a resolution reappointing a member to the Board of Building Appeals and the Storm Drainage Variance and Appeals Board, Mr. John Ashbaugh. Any comments? Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you. Were you here? I see Eric back there. I make a motion to accept this motion.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Adumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese? Yes. Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Buy leave number 2 is I believe this is the final of our CDBG nonprofit grants. These were presented to the board last October. This relates to an agreement with La Soup for food delivery services through partner agencies to households in the county at or below 80% AMI. This is an agreement through community development with La Soup for $87,500. The administration recommends approval.
Thank you so much. I know they do great work, even through COVID and beyond. So any other comments as it relates to this resolution? I make a motion to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Adumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese? Yes. Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Buy leave number 3. This relates to the award of an invitation to bid and an agreement with New Look Cleaning for janitorial services out at our new Central Campus building. The term on this is January of 26 through January of 28 with 3 possible extensions. It's for $335,917. This was bid out last year. The bids came in December. The recommendation from purchasing and county facilities is for New Look Cleaning. As an aside, New Look is an MBE and an SBE as well. So the administration does recommend approval.
Thank you. We followed the process as it was mentioned earlier, and as you say, SBE and WBE. So that's great. And we're moving forward in the process for Central Campus. Vice President Reese. No question. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to thank the administration for going really above and beyond on this contract to make sure that the individuals that are performing this work already have an opportunity to continue to perform the same work with the new company. I know we didn't have to do that, but I think it's the right thing to do, and it certainly will work to the benefit of people that are currently working at our facility. So I'm grateful for that. Also, just as a policy matter, want to think through, because we have gotten some communication on this one from the folks that are currently working in our buildings about their ability to collectively bargain. And so I just want to bring that in front of my colleagues. As has been stated earlier, we don't get to talk to each other, and so a lot of what we say to one another is done in public. But I just want to think through whether or not we want to put language into these RFPs related to collective bargaining and anything else that we find to be a priority. Maybe it is trying to make sure that the folks that are doing the work currently have an opportunity to seek employment with the new organization. But something that's been brought to my attention, and maybe we can think about that. It's too late for this one. This is done. But maybe we can think about that for future contracts. Thank you.
Thank you. I make a motion to pass by leave 3.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes?
Thank you, Commissioners. And by leave number 4 is a resolution establishing a new capital project for the coroner's office. This is $70,000 in project funding for a Nutra-Narc drug disposal system. This is for the construction of a drug disposal unit at the coroner's lab to accept drugs from the sheriff's evidence room. And this is being funded out of the sheriff's special revenue fund.
Any comments on by leave 4?
No comment.
Okay. Make a motion to adopt by leave 4.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's my by leaves, Commissioners. Thank you.
So regular agenda, we have our engineer is here. He has 2 items. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Item number 1 is a resolution for a consultant agreement with American Structure Point for engineering services for project 502-506, which is our Newtown Road Bridge rehabilitation project. We received grant funding on this for construction, so we're moving ahead with design. This agreement is in the amount of $150,005 and will come out of permissive auto funds. Item number 2 is a resolution to set the public hearing dates for the construction project to make repairs to sidewalks and driveway aprons along various county roads in Delhi and Green Township. This is project number 502601. This is what we do annually, where we break up the townships across the county, and this year it's Delhi and Green. Property owners have already been advised of what repairs need to be made. We've reached out to them several times, and should you approve these hearing dates, those letters will go out to them today, advising them of the hearings. We would like to do the first hearing on February 26th at 10:15 and March 26th for the second hearing at 10:15.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any comments or questions?
Yes.
Yes.
I do. I have on both items number 1 and 2. First of all, on item number 1, is that a bid out consultant agreement or is that a professional?
It's professional services.
Okay. And then on the professional services, there's no cap on how much?
There is not.
It doesn't have to be bid out. Okay.
We do consultant selection. We go through the Ohio Department of Transportation consultant selection process. So we have the consultants submit us proposals, we rate them, and we start with the highest rated team, ask them for a proposal. If that's in line, then that's who we would go with.
Gotcha. And then if you have been left out, not able to participate in that process, because I know when you coming on board, we talked about opening it up, getting other people who may not know but have the credentials. How's that been going? I know you worked with. Have you worked with Robert on some stuff?
We publicly advertise all our requests for proposals on our website. Anybody that's qualified can submit for those and be evaluated.
Gotcha. Okay. And then item number 2, the sidewalks, where you say, have these sidewalks been identified, or are these in subdivisions?
These are the ones that are along county roads that have been identified as needing repairs by the frontage property owner.
Gotcha.
So these will be scheduled to be repaired this year in our upcoming contract. So this is the public hearing to give any of those property owners a chance to come in and have any comments, questions answered regarding the process.
Okay. And then, pardon my ignorance on that. So if you live in a subdivision, you're not subjected to this?
That is correct. Those would be township roads, and those would be under the authority of the township.
Gotcha. Okay. Good for people to know.
And I appreciate that. That's a great question, because most people don't know who maintains the road they live on.
Right.
And a township road, you have a municipal road, you have county roads, you have state routes, you have U.S. routes. So yeah, there are a lot of different roads, but these are only 4 county maintained roads that are in the name of the board.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dreehouse. Okay. I make a motion to pass items 1 and 2.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to our consent agenda items.
Thank you, Commissioners. And while Eric is leaving the room, I did realize I actually did have a comment that I forgot to say earlier, but it related directly to Eric and all the people in county facilities, public works, everyone who over the past couple weeks worked really hard to not only clear all the snow off the roads, but to keep our facilities in really good shape, make sure that as people got to work, that the sidewalks were de-iced, all that type of thing. And not only did it snow a heck of a lot, but it was also really, really cold out for those people that had to do that work. So Eric, just wanted to thank you for all the work of you and your team.
I appreciate that, and I'll pass it on to them. They did all the hard work.
Yep.
Yes, pass it from all of us.
Will do. Thank you.
Excellent job.
Okay.
On everything I say is on behalf of the board.
Right.
How about that? So, thank you, Commissioners. The consent agenda, I'll walk through briefly here. Item number 3 is a resolution, an agreement with MSA Sport TrueScan work for Great American Ballpark's facility condition assessment. This is the first phase of that facility condition assessment to do a digital scanning of the stadium and its infrastructure at $464,000. Item number 4 is accepting sales tax charge for a credit card transaction in human resources at $5.64. Item number 5 is an award of an ITB to ProSource for the leasing and purchasing of printing equipment for Job and Family Services for $330,300. Item 6 is a resolution accepting purchase orders for Hamilton County and authorizing their release. This is for $13.2 million. There are a lot of big ones at the beginning of the year related to postage, related to our payment for Cages, our payment through the levy for Clear. There's actually some target range equipment in this one as well. Item number 7 is a resolution authorizing amendments to the Paycor Jungle Vision agreement. This is to accommodate some new NFL requirements related to pan-tilt zoom cameras in the stadium. This is for $1.1 million. That project, however, is still within the originally estimated budget overall for the project, even with that change. Item number 8 is an environmental services issue. This is authorizing a waste reduction grant with the OSU Extension Office for $1,198. Item number 9 is extending the security agreement with NSG through April to accommodate the rebid of that service for $420,000. Starting with item 10, we have several JFS items. Item number 10 is an agreement for family placement services with Lighthouse Youth Services for $6.41 million. Item 11 is an agreement for crisis stabilization and shelter care services with Lighthouse Youth Services for $800,000. Item number 12 is an agreement with Changing Lives Youth Services for group home services for $500,000. Item number 13 is an agreement with Agape for Youth for family placement services at $1.1 million. Item 14 is an agreement with Presley Ridge for family placement services for $303,000. Item number 15 is an agreement with New Path for family placement services for $4.91 million. Item 16 is an agreement with the prosecutor's office for adult protection and guardianship cases for $51,000. Item 17 is an agreement with Beach Acres for family placement services for $3.03 million. Item 18 is an agreement with Focus on Youth for family placement services for $1.75 million. Item 19 is an agreement with Specialized Alternatives for Family and Youth Ohio for resource family placement services for $2 million. Item 20 is an agreement with an agreement for family placement services with Angels Guarding Youth Services for family placement services at $551,000. And item 21 is an agreement with the National Youth Advocate Program for family placement services at $5.15 million. The total of all those totals $26.55 million. Let's see. Then we have 2 juvenile court items, commissioners. These are 2 credit card items. Item 22 is for an annual amount of $22,800 for fleet, BP Fleet with BP Fleet products. Item 23 is for $60,000 annually, and this is with Fifth Third Bank. Item 24, commissioners, is a report of no objection to 1 liquor permit. This is for Trios in Kenwood, and that is through the sheriff's office, and that is your consent agenda, commissioners.
Thank you so much. Just a comment I'd like to make. Items 10 through 21 were all JFS items, and the total was 26 million. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is last week it was 10 million. So we're up to 36 million now, and this is just February. And the reason why I bring that up again is because people were wondering about the 100 million, what happened to it? This is what happened to it. We talked about the cost of services and providers raising their costs, and that more children are involved that need services. So this is the first week in February, and we're already up to 36 million. So it's not hard to understand where this money is going. Believe me, we're trying to find the most reasonable placements. We have to go to providers that we've used before. And I also think we have to look outside of that box too, even though we want people that, of course, have credentials and they have tenure with us. But I just want people that are watching, as we look at a children's levy, to know that we're already, and I'll say it again, at 36 million, and it's just the first week of February. And that was all that I had. Vice President Reese.
Thank you very much. Wanted to, item number 7 is a change order, and you mentioned some NFL things that have come up, demands from the NFL. And so we had to make changes. I just want to keep our eyes on most construction projects. The number one thing you never want to hear is change order. And I just don't want to become a habit of change orders. I know you said it's within the budget this time, but we need to keep an eye on NFL with a whole lot of demands. They're another one with a bunch of demands, and the check is short. So I just wanted to just highlight that, to just keep our eyes on, because one of the things that, this one was because I guess the NFL added on, but you know, a lot of times people bid low. That's the number one trick in construction. They bid low and then come in with a bunch of change orders, and they basically end up being higher than somebody else that bid. So just one, I know Phil's got his eye on it, but Mr. Luda, I want to keep an eye on it. I don't want a lot of change orders. That's the number one trick in construction, change order. Be it real low and then come in with a whole lot of to the general market, it would be known as a la cartes. But in the construction field, change orders. I've had that in other positions that I've held. They come in real low, and then everybody got a change. We had a change order every week, and then you look up, and it's, you know, they've a la carted their way up to a higher number. And then I want to know that what we have put into the original proposal, I thought we had talked to the NFL. And so we just want to make sure that whatever else, I don't want the NFL keep coming with a whole lot of, you know, extra demands. I'm hoping that we have looked at it and talked to the NFL. And I wanted to talk to Roger Goodell, but y'all didn't give me a meeting. Y'all didn't want me to talk to him because I got something to tell him. But the point is, did we look at scale everything? Is there everything in compliance with the NFL so they don't start making changes on us and costing more money? So that would be my comment on that one. The other thing is, I know you explained it to me, but Mr. Ludo, if you could explain to people watching, what is a true scan work, so they can understand what that is and why that's important right now for Great American Ballpark.
No, thank you. And I'm actually going to defer to either Phil or Joe on this, because I can explain it at one level, but I think they might be able to go a step deeper. But basically, at a high level, this relates to the facility condition assessment that we're doing at Great American Ballpark. And as we get started with that, the need to have a fully digitized model of the entire stadium, so we know all of the nuts and bolts infrastructure of the stadium, so that as we're looking to make changes, that we know exactly what the implications of that are to the bones of the building. But Joe, I'll leave it to you to go into more depth.
I mean, you did a great job explaining it. It's exactly how I would have explained it. First of all, good morning, commissioners. The one thing I would add to what Jeff just mentioned is the true scanning model that will come from this digital imaging of the facility itself. It will benefit the FCA and all the work going forward with GABP currently, but it also will be something that the county owns. It's not something that that we'll have it for the projects that are coming up for anything along the lines of major capital repairs, but we will also retain that model going forward. So it's not going to be a one-time use, and then it's useless to the county. It's actually going to be something that we're going to be able to utilize going forward for any of the major projects that happen to take place out at the ballpark.
Gotcha. Now, did we do this process for Paycor?
Yes.
So this is the first step, is the scan,
Correct.
and then they come back with the assessment. I think we had voted on, I thought we voted on an assessment of Great American already.
Yeah, so the board voted on on doing a facility condition assessment. We did not put any numbers to that yet. So the board authorized us to go and negotiate agreements with MSA for this and for the rest of the facility condition assessment. So this is coming back to you now because we actually have a dollar number with this part of the project.
Gotcha. Okay, and then this already has the vendor. We won't have to come back, or is this put out for another?
It's through TrueScan. Yeah, that's the vendor's name.
That's the vendor's name.
Yeah, so that was vetted out, and they were involved in the Paycor imaging as well. It's a long story in terms of the branching out from vendors to vendors, but the folks that are at TrueScan currently who would be doing this work at JVP, very knowledgeable and experienced in doing something of this scale.
Gotcha. And I wanted to ask one other question. The assessment, does that include the Heritage Bank Arena that's right connected? Because I know that I think Bill Castellini had presented something. Is that looking at that area as well, since they are very much almost connected, or does it not go that far? I think it's like maybe 5 steps.
The way the RFP was written for this was that because the facility condition assessment is supposed to be much more bones related as opposed to some of the higher level bells and whistle type like visionary planning, but you still need the two to be able to connect with each other, right? So I think the FCA was bid in a way that MSA, who will be conducting that, is going to look at the areas of integration for that and what would be required in the stadium in the future to integrate with those things that we know might be possible in the future. So, Phil, I know you've been kind of point on this. Is that the accurate way to describe it?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Jeff. Phil Beck with Banks Project Executive. That's exactly right. Just case in point, hypothetical case in point, you wouldn't want to replace a bunch of seats in an area that could potentially be removed in the near future, if you've got an addition going in that same spot. So, yeah. So, like you say, you integrate the condition assessment of the existing facility, but then you also have your eye on what might come in the future. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So do you have to have permission from Heritage to go? I guess it's the air space. You don't have to have permission from Heritage to go over that.
Well, I think the Reds have a good working relationship with the arena, but primarily we're focused on the county property. Right. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for that. And as we're moving forward with as we're moving forward with financial investment, I just want to ask Mr. Ludo, I've asked this question before, and I would like to get back. The one dealing with the concerts and bookings, we were supposed to have, come together and have an RFP, and I'd like to get that before they start. I mean, they've already started booking without us. So I'd like to put that on there as something, because every week we're voting on releasing the money. But, I'm seeing commercials and everything else. So that'll be another, maybe come back another, not to put Joe Paul on the spot. I'm just saying, Mr. Ludo, I've asked you about it. I'd like to.
And we're working on
That's
that.
very important. Yes. Very important. Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on item number 7, which is the Paycor related item. I recognize that there is a change in the spend here, but I do want to note that it is within budget because we've capped the budget at $350 million, and so nothing we do in the stadium is going to expose us to any more liability because we capped, unlike the previous lease where there was no cap and Bengals could ask for whatever really they wanted. That was within reason, given the market. That is no longer the case, and so the $350 million is the cap. So I'm confident that while this may be needed, we won't be going over that. The other piece of this is the JFS items. I too was struck by the amount that's being spent, and we see these very large numbers, and it's the reason we need to educate the public as to what's happening here by way of the resources available in the levy. But so many of these items are for family placement services, and I was hoping that Jeff, either yourself or someone that's online from JFS, could help us better, really help the community better understand what exactly are family placement services and why is it so important that we engage these different providers for this service.
John is here.
Right to
There
John.
we go. John is here.
Thank you, Commissioners. John Nelson, Interim Director, Job and Family Services. So the providers that you're seeing today are basically foster care providers that are in between a really very restrictive facility versus a normal foster parent home. So these are foster parents that are specially trained to manage children with a lot of emotional and mental trauma. And so it is a specialized foster care system. And so, just looking at the various placement providers, we have over 200 children that are in need of these kind of special foster homes where the foster parents are really trained to be able to work with children with these challenges. So this is just one of those examples. So this is in between a very restrictive facility to getting those children to go to a regular foster home. So this is kind of like a step down process for the children to get to a more family-like setting.
So because the different organizations have been highlighted here, for instance, Lighthouse is on here, Changing Life Youth Services is on here, Agape for Youth is on here. So what is the relationship between those organizations and the foster parents who are providing the service?
Yes, so these various organizations then become a go-between between JFS and JFS caseworkers and the parents. Our caseworkers carry a huge caseload. And as part of it, we need to be able to provide the parents with the needed support and the training to work with the children that are placed with them. And so these various organizations, one, of course, they are really effective in going and recruiting foster parents that are willing to take our children, but also are willing to go through the additional training that is necessary to place children with these additional challenges as well. And so it really gives us the opportunity for us caseworkers to be able to work with these various organizations to recruit foster parents, train foster parents, and then place children with the foster families as well.
Do you know how many foster parents we have that are specialized like these?
Not on top of my
Sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot, but 200 children
Yes.
with this level
Just
of
this list
acuity
here, yes.
is significant. And as we've heard you testify for the last few months, this is what's driving the cost. It's the acuity of the needs of the kids and the specialized training then that is necessary through these organizations to the foster parents that's driving the cost of care higher and higher as we go. And so I just wanted to note that because we've talked about it kind of at a high level, but here we are with a solid examples, $24 million, $26 million worth of examples of what exactly it is we're talking about here. So I just wanted to point that out. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I know Laura Wolf's on the call as well. Didn't know if Laura wanted to add anything additional as well. She's in the weeds in terms of negotiating these contracts as well.
And with the state, we're mandated, as you were saying, John, to seek out the least restrictive environment. We might want to send them somewhere else and we'll try this, but we are ethically mandated to put them in the least restrictive. Do we still provide respite for those foster parents that are working with young people?
We do whenever it is possible. There's a lot of challenges with placement opportunities. So whenever it is possible, we do provide respite as well, and whenever it's feasible, Commissioner. So.
Yeah. And I can add a little bit to that. Thank you for unmuting me. These network foster care providers, I think the term foster care is something you guys are familiar with. We are trying to change some of the language around that to embrace the fact that these are families serving our children in the community. And we have well over 600 kids that are needing foster care placements. These contracts are just a handful of them, but they're also our great partners. And when we privatized our foster care back in 2010, these providers here at Lighthouse, NECO, and others took our foster care homes and are serving many of our young people in their foster homes with specialized treatments. The networks are, Commissioner Dumas, you spoke to least restrictive. Obviously, if we have to place, we prioritize kinship for families, right? That's where it's either direct relatives or fictive kin. The next level is foster care. Then it progressively gets more restrictive as we go through group homes and residential treatment programming. So these are our providers that are helping us keep kids local, keep kids in family-like settings. And quite honestly, they've seen the least increase with their rates of all the different levels of care. But just like us, their costs have gone up tremendously to provide these services.
Thank you. I think
Thank you, Laura. That's very helpful.
Okay, you're done. Okay. And I want to remember also, I remember you, since you've been up there several weeks, that you indicated that 9 out of 10 young people are able to go back to their homes. So we oftentimes wonder, well, why do we have to send them this place and spend all this money? But it is, and I said this before, I'll continue to say it, it's working when you have 9 out of 10. I'd like to ask Laura, though, about, you indicated that we privatized in 2010 for placement. What does that mean, Laura?
We used to have our own foster care networks that Hamilton County managed. And during that time, if you those of us that have been around forever, like me, remember that was during some very challenging financial times as well. We were going through layoffs and many other reductions in how we were operating. And we found it was going to be best if we could privatize the management of those foster homes. And those were all non-therapeutic settings. John spoke of the specialized therapeutic care, but we decided at that time it was in our best interest to work with our networks to take on that service level.
Okay. Thank you so much. Vice President Reed, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. I wasn't actually going to bring up this topic today, but, and I'm still looking for, a different model to get to the same result. A couple things as mentioned. In the, when I had asked a question, how will we stop the bleed? Because that's what people, otherwise you're just going to keep going up, more and more on the taxpayers. And the word was, we're going to promote kinship program. But then we come back here today, and obviously kinship can't solve this particular problem. We are voting every week on stuff, and to me it'd be easier. I don't have the whole budget in front of me, so I'm getting piecemeal, this contract, that contract. I don't know, I would have liked to know the 100 million, give me a thermometer. Every time it's going down, if you do this, it's going to this level. Because for me, that would give me a better understanding. We keep saying cost of care is going up. So my question is, you go up on a levy, how do you tell the people you're not gonna keep going up? They're not gonna be able to, eventually the rubber band gonna break. So we need to, number one, we really need, just like you did in 2010, you went from, I guess, in-house to out-house. I don't even know if in-house should be looked at again. We privatized, the words that was used today. So I just wanna look at that. But I think the big thing, so, I'm not going back and forth. 1 minute we say the people are price gouging. The next minute we say, no, they ain't price gouging. So it's one or the other. We have to give a reason to the people, a real one. And I think the reason, that's why I wasn't going to say it today, but I'll say it because I'm going to ask for it. It's time for an audit. What happened with the $100 million so that we can get right to the people, they can see it for themselves, an outside audit, and then a plan. And it's not on you, Director, you just got here, you're trying to help us out. But we've got to have a plan. We just can't run and say it's going to be more with no plan to stop the bleeding. So if we're saying that we're privatizing, and when you go into the private market, you in the free market, Kroger's can charge whatever they want for eggs. It's up to the market if they're going to buy it. So, 1 minute we're told there was some price gouging going on. These people aren't participating in RFPs. They're going up on cost. I've asked for us to get the attorney general. Nobody wants to get it investigated. Nobody wants to say how we gonna stop it. The answer is we're gonna throw more money at it at the expense of the homeowner. And I just think if we go into the homeowners, we got to tell them this. And then when I said, how are we gonna stop it? They said kinship program. But as you can see, like you said, kinship can't, these people probably can't go to the kinship, to their, relative's house. So again, I will just put that on the table. It would help me when I'm voting on this. I wanna thank the commissioners for bringing it up, $20 million, $30 million. I need a thermometer, like they do on the thing. It's going down, your bank account is going down, and then we can I can't really make an intelligent decision because I'm just believing what y'all give me. We got these contracts this week, we got these contracts next week. I don't see the whole thing, and I know it's complicated, but we got to uncomplicate it for the people that we're asking to pay for it. So there's no answer on you. I'm not putting it as a question. I'm just saying, Mr. Ludo, it's time for an audit of what happened to the $100 million in 1 year that was used up, that was in reserve, not the regular budget, the reserve. Because I'm getting questions from a whole bunch of people. So, man, that's a whole lot of money to go from $100 million to a deficit. Now, they're going to say cost of care went up. It's going to keep going up. Who's going to put our foot down? I mean, when does it stop is what people want to know. And I don't know the answer to that today, but we've got to figure it out. And kinship is a great program, but as we see, it can't handle this. So I do think it's good to get these numbers, but we need to look at it in the context of, you only got $50 million left and you're getting ready to spend $20 million, or we only got $40 million left and you're getting ready to spend another $10 million. That can maybe, for me, it would help me make a better decision. So that would be just my comments. But I appreciate my colleagues bringing up what we're voting on today in terms of numbers.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yeah, just a comment, since I brought up this idea about the providers. I did not mean to insinuate that they're price gouging. I have not heard the administration, either JFS or the county administration, call the increase to cost of care price gouging. So I want to be careful about what we're talking about here, and about how legitimate increase in costs doesn't equate to price gouging, because we have these providers in the community that are offering these services that are well respected, and we're grateful that they're willing to do this work to keep kids safe. So I just want to clarify. I hope I didn't give that impression. The other thing that was mentioned, I too have asked for an audit to get a better understanding of the reserve over the past 5 years, and see how that has been reduced and where the money has gone. I agree that we're all being asked that question. I think we need to have, I think we've got a high-level answer to that, but I think an audit that would be a little bit more detailed would be very helpful to increase the understanding of ourselves and the community as we move into this phase where we're trying to educate people as to the cost of care and the need for an increase to the levy. So I don't know. I didn't ask for any timing on that. I hope sooner than later. I know that that's a big lift, but I think it's really important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I asked a whole bunch of times, how did we go from $100 million in reserve, December of 2024? You can pull the tape. $100 million I've been asking about. Before then, I was asking about it. And then 2025, it came in and said, we're broke. We done spent $100 million plus we got to put another almost $30 million to keep operations going. We just voted on some stuff last week. And I said, well, wait a minute, how is that possible? The answer was there are people who do not participate anymore in the RFP process. I didn't say it, go get the tape. They're not participating. They're holding out, and then we have nowhere else to go, and then they can name their own price. Now, I didn't just come up with this. I'm not even over at JFS to come up with this. I'm not negotiating the contracts with the people. Now, that doesn't mean all the people are bad people. You said, not you, but JFS, it's on the tape, and we need to go run these tapes. On the tape, it said that there are people who are not participating in the RFP process. They're holding out until we have nowhere to go, and then they naming a big price. That's price gouge. And the Attorney General should get involved if that's happening across the state. Now, if we're saying that didn't happen, then we got to say it didn't happen, because that's what the explanation was originally when I asked the question. Now we're just saying cost of care going up. That's 3%. Somebody, we can get the tape, can find out, get down. That's why I said get the Attorney General involved, and let's get to the bottom of it. But we can't go to the voters with a whole lot of, well, it's just more. I got to have an answer of how we gonna stop it. Now, I even asked, how do we stop the bleed? We came back with kinship program. Get the tape. Let's go to the tape. That's why I ask the questions here. I don't go behind the closed doors in private meetings. I have it here so it's on tape, so the people can see and hear. You can get the tape from December 2024. I asked about the $100 million. I've been asking about it since 23. $100 million in December. Your predecessor came in and said, we've got I said, how much is in the reserve? $100 million. That's when I started looking at, can we give something back to the homeowners? When I started talking about giving something back, all of a sudden, just in time for the new levy, this is what people feel, now we done run out of $100 million. That's 2025 of December. By the way, it's not just $100 million, we owe 30 more million. And then I said, wait a minute, how in the world? And y'all met with me, but then I said, let's do it on camera. And what was said was that there's some people who are not participating in the RFP process, because you got to bid and everything, get some good rates. They sit back and they know we can't go nowhere else, and they up the price. That's called price gouge. So I'm not putting it on you to answer that question. I'm just saying I want to be clear to get the tape. How did we get here? And I'm calling for a full audit, because $100 million in 1 year in reserves, and I don't even include the regular price, people are going to know what happened. And if I said, if these people are doing that, that's wrong. And they need to be held, they need to be exposed, and they need to be held accountable. because they're doing this on the backs of our children. And that is totally unacceptable. But we got to be able to get back to the homeowner. So that's how that came up. And I think it was good that my colleagues Commissioner President Dumas started last week talking about, wait a minute, look how much money we're voting on. And we get 20 million here and 10 million there, but those things do add up. And for me, I've been just kind of trusting JFS. You bring me something, you done looked at it, we vote on it. But I need to now see the whole, how much money I got in the bank and then how much we've been spent. So those are my, I want to clarify, not clarify, I'm clear on what I said. But it's on the tape. And that's the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the ones that ain't price gouging. I ain't talking about the ones that's in the RFP process. I'm talking about these other ones that you said is the reason we're here, because they waiting and looking. And every time we go up, they go up with their pricing. And that has to stop, if that is happening. But that's what was told on tape.
Thank you. Jeff, did you have a comment?
Just to those two high-level points that each commissioner has raised, two things. Number one, we did indicate back in December to the board's thoughts about a high-level look at the budget of JFS to keep track of that we would start on a monthly basis coming back and reporting on that to you, so that as you are approving these agreements, you can also see the forest for the trees with that. So we will be reporting back to the board on that. And then secondly, as it relates to the concept of an audit or something of that kind, we have talked, John and I have talked, Lisa Webb have talked about making sure that we are doing what we need to do, called an audit, called a review, whatever it is, to ensure that we can very specifically indicate with the time that we have now through when the levy is prospectively on the ballot in November, that we can say exactly here's how the finances have worked over the past several years to provide the board and the public with the confidence that those dollars have been spent towards the care of children, et cetera. So we're on both of those things, and we'll get back to the board shortly on them.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt items 3 through 24.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Thank you. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have an executive session.
Oh, yeah. Not so fast.
Can you check with Kim about my meeting at 12? So we have an executive session.
We have a motion in a second. So can
motion?
Yeah, we just had a motion.
But that was going to be for adjourn. I didn't read the executive session.
Do we need to rescind that motion in order to get the different motion on the table?
Yes. Okay. Even though I didn't speak what the motion was, so what do I need to do? I'll make a motion to rescind my motion.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
So we have before us an executive session. Executive session pursuant to ORC section 121.22.G1 to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee or official. I make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.